Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Escape Pod, a part serious, part hilarious traumedy featuring stories of escape. I'm here with Charity. I'm starting over.
We do this 27 times, so just buckle your seatbelt.
No, you're fine.
I think we should just keep going. I think it should just be part of the deal.
I didn't erase it here. Okay, here we go. I am restarting now.
Okay, but if you thought this was going to be a professional podcast, it's only half professional.
It's only,
it's better than me.
Like quarter professional probably at this point. It's been a while since I've been a professional.
We probably should tell them what to expect. If you want professionalism and if you want facts.
You give facts.
But do I?
Probably.
But do I?
Mostly.
Okay. All right.
Just like the podcast, they're quarter facts.
Quarter facts.
Quarter facts?
Yes.
All right, here we go.
All right.
3, 2, and 1.
If ever your life could be a true crime podcast episode, then this podcast is for you. We're about to embark on a roller coaster of emotions, insights, survival, and stories about escape. So buckle up and let the journey begin.
Hello and welcome back to the Escape Pod, a part serious, part hilarious traumedy featuring stories of escape. I'm Julie here with Charity, your co-host.
I was going to say I'm Charity.
She's Charity. Go for it.
So this is where it comes in, where we have part professional, part not professional. I say professional pointing to Julie. I say not professional pointing to me, because you were in media for so long.
I was, but now
so-
it's been a while since I haven't been. So a little rusty. A little rusty around the edges. Oh, yeah.
I think it's like you're just like riding a bike and you're like, I've got a mission. I have a report to make. I'm just going to do it. Let's go. So
I could probably do a live shot now if I were required to. It might not be the best, but I probably could.
I think you could.
People are like, you get nervous? I'm like, yes. Like I had a teleprompter. Like I read over the scripts ahead of time. I didn't memorize it. When I was little, I thought the anchors memorized the news. It's a good thing I was wrong.
Ooh.
I did. I thought they memorized everything that they said looking into that camera.
That's what I thought. Mm-hmm.
The magic of the teleprompter.
I don't know if I ever thought about it. I was more obsessed with like radio. So back in the day, I always teased Julie, like, do you know what a tape recorder was? And we've already established that she
know.
does. But I would sit there and record clips of like radio shows or whatever and like mimic it and create radio station. I think I told you one time about the KDED, K-Dead radio.
No.
Oh, it was hilarious. So everything like breaks were dead baby jokes and it was all very, and like, so I can play the piano like a little bit back then. And so I could do the funeral march. So that was like the,
Yeah.
it was hilarious. But no, I would record and like pretend to be a DJ and those kind of things. And then also repair tape recorders because that was my thing.
There's more money in that, probably, by the way. Not anymore, but back then there probably was some money in
I bet it'd be hilarious if I still had any of those tapes. We would have a good laugh.
We would.
But alas.
Let's introduce our guest.
Yes.
You've heard him coughing. I can't cut it all out. I'm not that good. Chad, the amazing Chadino.
Hello. Who's I?
Bueller.
Yeah.
Chad is the transformation director here at the One Heart campus. And if you want to know more about One Heart, you go to our prologue episode all about One Heart, what we do on this amazing, at this amazing place for hope and healing, where people are trying to rebuild their lives and create their own upward mobility. And it's pretty fun. And Chad is second in command only to my co-host Charity. So, which the other day he tried to tell somebody, that's not true. And I looked at the person, I was like, actually, it is true.
He said it, and he has said it to other people. He is not backing out now. I need a succession plan.
We're not letting him
So he's
go.
it.
Yes.
All right. So
So we're going to have a fun episode today.
A
little bit.
well, there's some serious, because some of these, it's
Well,
been a
there's
while
serious
since I
reasons
read these
why.
blurbs about the topic today. They're kind of, I'm going to just give you the gross warning now.
Yeah. Oh, trigger
Trigger warning.
Trigger warning, feces.
Yes.
Okay.
There you go.
I've never heard that as a trigger warning, but you know
You
what?
can laugh, Chad. It's okay.
Yeah, you're funny all
Okay.
the time. Don't stop now.
Well, I was just thinking in my head, I'm completely unmedicated right now, so you guys better buckle up.
Buckle up. Love it. Love it. So no, Chad and Julie and I were talking one day about the topic of today's episode. Why people do the things that they do, and we will get to what they're doing and trying to understand why they're doing it.
Yeah.
And I'll kind of throw in some commentary. I did talk to a mental health professional about, is there a prevalent diagnosis for this? Like, what would contribute to someone deciding or not? If it, is it in the heat of the moment or whatever? So we're going to talk about that. But today's episode is all about vendetta pooping.
Yeah, it's pretty accurate.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
There you go.
So, again, we don't intend the podcast to talk all about our work. We just happen to work together, and there are some really interesting things that sometimes happen when you're working with people who are in crisis brain. We talk about crisis brain a lot, and they're trying to rebuild their lives, and they're in a state with crisis brain. They don't know why they do the things that they do. And some of the things that they do, while they may be infuriating and frustrating in the moment for us as staff on this campus, they're pretty hilarious hindsight. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. So Chad came ready and loaded with stories about poop today.
Yes.
You wanna just jump in?
Yeah. We'll jump into
Okay.
it.
What was
Bring it.
the first one? Do you remember the first? Because I can think of two, maybe a year or so-ish ago, but I don't know what was
We
the
have about
first one.
5, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
The first one was we had a lovely family. Well, they were lovely to start out with, and then we had to discharge them. And I remember the care coordinators coming over. Chad, you're just not going to believe this. I'm like, what's going on? Somebody, I can't remember how they described it. They just pooped on the carpet in the middle of the living room. Cleveland steamer.
Oh, I wasn't even thinking about that one. That's
Okay,
okay. I remember that one too. So
That
maybe
was
we have
the
half a
very
dozen.
first
I don't think
one.
I even heard about
Yeah.
that one.
No, yeah, it was
Yeah.
right in the middle of the living room.
It was a little goodbye gift.
Yes, it was a parting gift.
You want to kick me out of here? I'm going to show you.
And then there was the internal debate of, I think Luke.
What is it? Chocolate?
Yeah, he was like, it looks like
I
chocolate.
remember this.
Yes, and it's like, well, how do we find out?
Yeah, do you
You
really
know,
want to test this theory?
you gonna touch it? And it's like, no, we're not gonna touch it. So then it came down to people were actually Googling what does poop look like on carpet versus chocolate.
Oh
And
no, I've never Googled that. Did
Oh,
you
yeah.
actually find images?
Yes,
Oh,
yes, we
okay.
did. So we were able to debunk that it was not a melted chocolate bar. It was, in fact, fecal matter. So
What do you think our IT guy thought when he looked back at search histories?
Search histories? Oh, he'd be terrified looking at mine, especially for this podcast.
we actually, I asked Ron one day. I said, Ron, do you ever look at our search histories?
Oh no.
He said, no, why? And I said, "Just please don't." In social work, we always have questions, how much jail time can you do for an 8-ball of cocaine? And for anybody who doesn't know us would be like, "What, do you have one? Are you going to jail for that?" And then this one, poop versus candy bar carpet. I mean, yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I'm sure he would get an absolute riot.
It would have been fun to bring a doctor in, like if a turd looked like a candy bar. What was this person's diet like? Clearly a lot of iron.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know a gastroenterologist for future reference.
Okay,
If
we might
anybody-
have
if
to bring
anybody
them
gets
into another one.
desperate.
Well, it consistently happens. Once a quarter, we have a pooping event on campus.
No, it's
So-
not that much.
Oh yeah, yep.
It is?
Yeah, we had another one, the little green generator thing over here. Somebody popped a squat there.
Generated- Oh, outside.
Yeah, outside.
Okay,
outside.
so that
Popped a
probably isn't.
squat.
That's
that
not
might not have been one of our
revenge
people.
pooping.
I don't know if it was, but it might have been. We had a string of.
We've had some outside stuff happening too from
Yes.
just the neighborhood we're in.
Oh yeah, somebody pooped on the door handle that one time.
Well, I don't think they pooped on the door handle, but they picked it up and
Oh,
made
yeah.
sure it was
On
all
the
over.
door
Yeah, it's
Yes.
like, what did you call it? Shart Art or something like that. See, this is the kind of fun we have at work all day long.
Yeah, as a fundraiser, we're gonna have. Just gonna do some Shart Art.
Oh, no, we are not.
Well,
Hard.
mean-
no.
I've never been on the dark web, but I bet there's a market for
I
something like
guarantee
that.
there is.
I'm kidding. Oh,
I'm like gagging.
I am gagging.
in my mouth.
But the funny thing about the one that was over at the generator outside, the green one, it has the record for being the longest turd on campus.
I didn't know this was a thing.
Oh yeah. Well, we had one particular staff member who was just absolutely obsessed with all things turdish, and that particular spot, it stayed there for about 9 months.
Is this like between the building?
Yeah.
Like, so between the unit and the building?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
We had someone sleeping back there once
Oh,
upon a
okay.
time, yeah.
Yeah. That one was there for about 9
I
months.
think Stephanie, when she was here, looked out her window and there was someone sleeping down there. She's like, "Ah,
Oh, really?
there's a person out there." Yeah.
Where have I been?
Well, your window faces a different
Okay.
street, so it would be
Gotcha.
facing east, yeah.
Yeah.
That explains a lot.
So I forgot about that one. So I think you're right. There may be more than. So I'm buckled up. I'm ready.
Yeah, we've had quite a few.
And then we'll get to motives why. Like, I know, obviously we're going to protect identities and do all that stuff. But in that particular case, what do you think the message really was?
I don't know. I mean,
Was it directed at a person or at the institution,
I don't
or
know. I mean, it was under Stephanie's
they really hated
window.
that carpet, or?
Oh, you mean the carpet one? Yeah, I think they were just upset with us, and the only thing that they could do, they just were so upset. They just decided to poop on the carpet. It's better than punching a hole in the wall.
Well, it's crazy. Like, I don't think I could even do that. Even like, okay, so we're going to probably do too much information. Do you remember when we were just in Belize?
Mm-hmm.
So Chad and I and our spouses were just in Belize a few weeks ago. And we took a snorkeling excursion, and an hour in, 2 hours in, I don't know. And it was this all-day thing. I really had to pee. And I'm thinking because part of it was like we would also island hop. So I'm just like, I can just hold it till we get to an island, right? And Tasio was our tour guide, our captain. And he's like, "Oh, no, you just go in the water." And I'm like, oh, I can't pee in the water. And he's like, "Oh, yeah, it's fine."
What do you think the fish do, Charity?
I know, but okay, but here's the deal. He's like, "No, you can just hang over the boat." And I'm like, I'm not hanging my ass over the side of the boat and peeing. Like,
I know these people.
I'm not going to do it. This is not like I'm on a tour with a bunch of people I'm never going to see again. And I'm not going to be mooning.
Fair.
Like, I'm not peeing my pants. And I said, "Well, is that even healthy for like the ecosystem?" And he's like, "Oh, that's so sweet that you're thinking about that." And I'm just like going, "Oh my God.
It's different
I'm
than
not peeing in the water."
sunscreen.
But like, that's what they do. This is the thing, right? And I'm just like, "Oh, I can't pee." And then finally my bladder hurt so bad. I'm like, I got to try it. Nope. Was not going to happen. And then Tim didn't believe me. So my husband was like, "Well, I'll try." He couldn't do it either. So I think because we're conditioned, like, I don't even know if I was that mad at somebody if I could just squat and poop on someone's floor. Like, I don't think I could do it.
No, I could.
Do we know this from experience or just from, I know myself?
Yeah, no. I remember when you called and you were like, we're gonna do an episode on pooping, and I was like, "Oh, great!" And you were like, "Can't remember how you worded it. Do you have experience with that, or like, do you have a ton of stories?" And I was like, "Charity, I've never pooped on someone's floor."
But then you search deep and you realize you actually could do this.
I mean, yeah, I feel like if somebody made me mad enough, absolutely, I could get the scoots and just get her done. So I feel like it's the ultimate like F you. Like,
I was just going to
Yeah.
say that.
the old racing marks straight across the carpet. Like, and the bad thing was, the family, after we called them out on it, we're like, "Oh, that was our baby."
Oh, yeah, the baby.
Yeah, and it's like,
Well, your
better take
baby's
baby to
got-
the doctor because that
Yeah.
was like, so that's longer than baby.
Baby might need some medical help.
Exactly. So,
Oh.
yeah, it was. That was the very first one, and that was like, first time, this will be the last time.
I wish we would have gone in with a video camera that time. Like the whole poop versus is it that or is
Oh,
it chocolate?
I'm
That
pretty
would have
sure
been
we still have
hilarious.
pictures.
We do have pictures.
Yeah.
But video would have been really hilarious.
would have been.
Capturing the conversation.
Yeah,
on that.
because it was Luke versus us, and Luke was like, "It's a candy bar." And
Well,
we're like,
he wants to always think the best, right?
I know.
Like,
He's just the sweetest guy in the
he
world.
is,
yeah,
That's our maintenance guy, by the way, the head of buildings and grounds.
yeah.
Yes.
yeah. He's like, "No, it's a candy bar." And we're like, "No, that's not a Baby Ruth." That is. So we're just going back and forth, and we finally were able to figure out. Yep, it was poop.
Well, I'm glad whichever staff person was gauging the one outside and to see how long it lasted wasn't in charge of that one because, yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
And that's the room we subsequently tore out all the carpet, and then it took forever to get the carpet replaced. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good times. Good
It
times.
is.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, and then
Did those people ever try to come back?
no,
Get re-referred?
nope.
Okay.
They, I think they knew. They left their mark here and bailed. So.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not
so-
funny. It's infuriating.
Oh, it
It's
absolutely
really hard.
is.
I mean, just thinking like as a nonprofit, and I tell our guests this during orientation, like we have to fundraise for every single thing we spend. Every penny we spend, we've asked somebody for that money. It's not, just coming from out of nowhere. So,
Well, I think
replacing carpet also included.
the thing with that one was also it was in the middle of the floor. Like there's no cameras in here, nobody can see me, but I'm fluffy. I can't squat like that. So in my head, it was a dual action. Somebody was like, hold my hands. while I
Oh,
squat.
so it was a partnership.
I think so because
Intentional partnership,
unless
yeah.
they were super flexible. But yeah, that was like the, hey, we're all packed up. Send the kids outside.
You feel like it was very intentional.
Oh, absolutely. Like send the kids outside.
Send a
It's like-
message.
Yeah, it's like kids are outside. They're probably like, babe, come back. Hold my hands. She's like, what are you doing? It's like, oh, we're going to show them.
Yeah, totally showed us.
Oh,
I
yeah.
have a Hootie song in my head now.
Hold my hand. Yeah,
I'm sorry, Hootie.
that's funny.
I apologize.
Yeah, so that one was the first one. Second one was a generator. Third one, we had discharged a pretty upset guy. Charity and I both came in for that. And speaking of, restrooms,
That was a poop one? Yeah. It was?
well, the next day, outside the care coordinator's window,
Oh, that's right.
somebody had
Okay.
literally right outside. So I was just laughing, thinking of this angry guest who we just discharged, holding onto the windowsill, eye level, staring at the care coordinator at the back of her head, and just grunting.
Letting it go.
Yeah, we couldn't confirm that because the camera angle wasn't right for the campus.
Wasn't quite right.
No.
Oh, boy.
But we'd come to discharge this individual, and I happened to be on a date night with my wife, and we get here, and she says, "Babe, I have to go to the bathroom,"
I remember this.
and I said, "Well, you're gonna have to hold it, because per policy, and I follow policy."
Me in the ocean. I would
Yeah.
have let her come in and pee, man.
I couldn't do it. I was like, "You can't go in there." And she was like, "Well, I'm going to get out and pee behind your truck." And I said, "Well, there's a cop car behind our truck, so you're going to go to jail." And she said, "What about the main provider?" And I said, "There's no life safety to take you over there. I can't just give you my keys." And yeah, it was. And then Charity was like, "You could have let her in." And I was like, "I follow the policies and procedures. Like, you're going to have to hold it."
Oh,
You're
boy.
kind of mean.
I just, policies, they matter.
He just, yeah.
Have her sign the sheet.
We didn't have the she back then.
Oh, okay.
But I was there. He could have said, "Hey, Charity." Katie
Take
really
her to the
needs to pee.
bathroom.
And like, okay, we could have done that.
That was like before we, had actually like gone out to dinner and like hung out. And I didn't know how to broach
was
that
it?
subject with you.
Oh, that's
Like-
really early on.
Yeah, I had
Oh,
like,
so you were still terrified of me.
I don't know if I was terrified of you, but it was like, how do I tell Charity, my boss, and Tim was there, how do I tell these guys, like, my wife has to use the bathroom, she has to come inside. There was no easy way to say that.
Yeah. Easy.
Well, now, yes, knowing it.
Yeah.
Because obviously we've been
Back
on.
door, office,
Yeah.
Staff.
Yeah.
bathroom would have been fine. Yeah.
Well, now I know that, yeah. But yeah, so that was, I think, the third incident. And then the fourth was the lady who came inside. She wanted to move in.
Oh, yes.
She got upset with us and I think returned like a thief in the night. And literally, it's cold out. It was snowing. And
Was it? Oh,
yeah,
it was.
remember? Popped a squat right in front of the door. She used the door handle, leaned back, and then wiped it on the door handle.
Decorated the door handle and the door. Yeah.
She was an older woman too.
Yeah, she was.
I did suspect very much that there were
That one were
more mental health.
illness. Yeah.
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 I don't. Also, a vendetta,
Sure.
but very, very clearly,
Yeah.
Yeah.
mental illness was prevalent in that situation.
Yeah, that one just sticks in my brain too because two reasons. I remember our life safety. Raina had come over. They had to pour warm water on it and then scrape it
Thought
off
out. Yeah.
because it was literally stuck to the concrete and then to the handle. And then that morning was the day that we did the Welcome to One Heart shoot. And Charity and I kept having to grab the door handle.
We're like, ooh.
It was disinfected
Here,
first.
here,
but
you stand on this side.
I didn't know that, or I might have changed my plan for that.
Now I'm trying to remember. I can remember the video, but I can't remember which side it was on. I probably got the poopy handle.
You did.
You did.
I told you afterwards.
You stuck me on
If
that
I
side.
had known that, I would have been like,
Oh,
we need
man.
to replace the door
I'm
handles.
rethinking this succession plan.
Wow. All
Oh, that's
right.
bananas.
Any other good ones? Good in a bad way?
Oh yeah, we had the waffle stopper. So she. Oh, are you guys not familiar with that term? So
Waffle stumper.
so somebody when they poop in the shower, and then they put it over the drain and you stop it through.
Grief. Oh,
So it's like a waffle. So it's called waffle stopping.
is it a sport?
No, it probably should be.
An event?
Yeah.
Oh, my Lord.
But
Poor
yeah,
Julie. She's getting pale over there.
I know.
She might pass out.
Gosh.
And it just is, our poor maintenance team, just every week there for about, about 2 months.
2 months, yeah.
Chad, somebody, sharted all over the back of the wall. And it's like, they send me pictures and I'm like, this person needs to see a doctor, first of all. Second of all, like, how bad are your knees that you can't, sit all the way
Sit
down
on the toilet, yeah.
But then not only that, like, clearly somebody was on the toilet too and still blew out the back end. And I'm just like, the talent that takes, first of all.
Okay, is there poop spatter evidence? Like, did you go to, do you have any
yeah.
formal education on this? Or,
No,
okay,
no,
training?
I don't.
Like,
It's
Totally,
just-
totally on the job training.
Yeah, I think it's mainly just, being just a guy that went to high school and played football with a bunch of, other really gross dudes. Because we had a guy on our basketball team that would do something similar to this to, like, all the freshmen who made, like, the varsity team. He would go, anytime we would travel, he would go wreck their hotel bathroom.
That's disgusting.
I know. Or he would do an upper decker.
So it's like hazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yep. Or he would do the old upper
You
decker.
survive my poop attacks, you can survive this team.
Yeah, it's like National Geographic, when, what was the last year? When turkeys attack. It's like when poo attacks. Which is why I'm actually happy that in our restrooms we don't have the tanks, because I could see our guests getting upset, and it's called an upper decker.
I was just about to ask, what are you
It has a
referring
name too.
to?
Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
yeah.
Okay, I am very much a novice in the revenge pooping arena.
I'm a novice in a lot of areas, which Chad and I have discussed. We could do an episode just on things Chad has taught Julie since we started working together. I'll just start with devil's lettuce that I was like, he's like, you know what that
that's
is.
hilarious.
And I was like, nope.
I don't.
I was like, I don't know. There was another one too that was like, that was the tax one where the girl's like, they're stealing my money with her paycheck. And she said, well, my paycheck was supposed to be this much and they've taken this money out and what's with the money? And so Chad's like, oh, we need to talk about taxes. And this was her first legit job. And I was like, well, what was she doing? Because again, for our audience, I do not do direct service work here. And Chad's like, well, probably dealing drugs, Julie. Like, I just sometimes am very naive, but I think he gets a kick out of it, so it's fine.
I do.
There's a little
We need that sweet naivety in the world because,
Yeah.
I mean, people like Chad and I had to grow up way too fast.
right.
Yes. And I
Way,
think,
way too fast. And that, that hurts your soul.
Yeah.
It really
I think Teresa's probably got you beat, though, on.
You think?
Oh, you didn't hear? Did you hear about this?
Clearly not.
Oh,
My meth pipe.
yeah. She
Do-do-do-do-do.
was going to lunch, and she came back yesterday, the day before. And she said, "Hey, Chad, I got to talk to you." I said, "Okay, what's going on?" And she's like, "I left for lunch, and I was walking out to my truck, and I looked down, and there was what I thought was a Christmas ornament."
Like a blown glass ornament. Yeah.
And she's like, "So I picked it up, and I was like, oh, this is kind of pretty."
Oh no.
And she's like, and then I noticed the scorch marks, and I was like, "Oh, that's a crack pipe." And she's like, I slowly put it back down. And she was like, "I'm going to go to lunch, and I'll just tell Chad when I get back." And so she came back from lunch, and it was gone.
Oh no.
So she was like, "Can you please review the cameras? I feel bad if a guest picked it up."
Well, then I told her wrong because, fentanyl came after my time. So that's not anything I have any experience with. And I said, well, the one that's so, I mean, it can just kill you. You just breathe it in or you're near it and it harms a lot of people. And I said, well, at least I know it's not fentanyl because you don't smoke it. And then I get home that night, I'm telling my husband
And he's like,
about,
"Sure you
he
could."
goes, "Yep, you smoke fentanyl also." And I'm like, what? Okay, I guess we just smoke everything now. So
Yeah.
I told her the next day because she said, "Should I disinfect my truck handles?" I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
And then the next day I told her about what I just learned, and she's like, but I think it's so precious. I mean,
It is. I appreciate it. It's like, what was that like growing up like that?
yeah.
She
She goes, "I thought it was the thing with the water in it." I'm like, "No, that's a bong."
Here, you
Oh, yeah,
got
she
it.
brought it
I
up.
knew it.
There we go. See?
Oh my gosh.
See?
Never actually used one, but
Yeah.
I do know what it looks like.
So we
Yeah,
had.
I learned how to make one when I was like 4.
Ah,
Yeah.
that's
Yep.
not okay.
Yeah.
We had,
I could tell you. You want a step by step? No, I'm kidding. This is not an educational podcast.
DIY.
Do not try this at home.
Yeah. So did you, growing up, Julie, ever have a bedtime snack?
Probably.
Yeah. So a couple of CCs were talking about their bedtime snacks that they got growing up, and they were like, "Chad, what was yours?" Because I'm just looking at them like just shocked, like,
That's a thing.
"Yeah, you guys got those?" But they looked at me, and of course, I have a very dark sense of humor. So they were like, "Well, Chad, what was your bedtime snack?" And I said, "Well, usually it was a knuckle sandwich."
Oh.
And I was the only one laughing in the room, just like I am now.
And they're like, "Oh."
They were like, "Oh."
That is sad.
No, but it's just like
Sad panda.
I just enjoy hearing about like your childhood growing up,
Yeah.
a lot of our staff's childhood growing up, because it just is a stark difference between my childhood or even like Charity's childhood. Where our favorite game was survival. So, but it does make it also relatable with the guests, right?
Sure.
Not that I would ever poop on our floor.
Thank you.
I mean, if you made
Thanks
me
a
mad
lot.
enough.
Yeah. I'm going to echo her
Yeah.
gratitude right there.
Yeah. Well, instead of leaving potting soil all over, I might do it if you ever.
Oh yeah, we had that happen too, huh?
Yeah. So
Well, then we had You want to talk about the one with the dog?
so this
They're
is
all
actually
coming back to me now.
Yes. So this is actually the only non-human pooping incident we've had.
But it was orchestrated by
Yes, by
human.
a person. They said they had a
service animal.
service animal, and they brought the dog in, and it was a puppy. And
And it was not trained for anything.
no. So we let them know that is not a service animal, so they would need to rehome it. And so they decided to discharge. But before they discharged, they let the dog use the bathroom, poop and pee everywhere in the room, and then they turned the PTAC unit up to the hottest setting, closed the blinds, and shut the door. And when we went in to do the move-out inspection, we almost died.
I was going to say, that is so bad.
Yes. Another one where we had to replace the carpet
Yep.
and repaint the walls because it had that
And
seeps in.
Probably replace the heating unit.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know if we
Well, I
replaced
don't
that
think
one.
that. Yeah.
No.
They just have to like severely disinfect.
Yeah, because I think the only one we've had to replace was the one that they put a Jolly Rancher down in.
It was like some little kids were using it as a almost like
Candy
a
dispenser.
backwards vending machine, popping the candy in through the slots, and it was
I always tell people sometimes
Oy.
things that happen in the rooms are like totally intentional. Like the person who's mad and lets a dog pee and poop everywhere and then turns up the heat. And then there's like
chicken juice.
chicken juice, like you didn't know that
You just don't know what you don't know.
you don't know what you don't know. Like wanted to cook, got distracted, had to leave town for a few days. Raw chicken still sitting on the countertop, and that caused a lot of problems. But it was not intentional. So we are joking a lot about a lot of this because we are aware a lot of it was intentional in nature, and like you said, vendetta pooping. We name our episodes.
Did you come up with one?
Well, I'm stealing from my kids.
Shitty bang bang.
That's pretty good. I was just gonna call it. My kids, like their mother, they think the word crap is a bad word. I mean, I don't think it's a bad word, but they'll say like, they said to me one day, "Is it a bad word? Crap." And I was like, "Well, it's not a bad word, but it's not a good word. Like, try to come up with a different word." Like, I'm just trying to keep them like innocent and joyful and just like let's choose better words. Let's pick words, let's not just settle on gross words. Anyway, so my lovely sister, who's wonderful, says crap all the time. And my child will be like, "You," and I'm like, "Let it go." So I've maybe taken it too far, but they don't swear very much. I've maybe caught the older one once or twice saying something I would not approve of, but I think it might be a SpongeBob thing where the swear word in something they've watched, it's like poop duty. So when they get mad, instead of like saying crap or shit or something like that, they go, poop duty.
Yeah.
So
My
I
kids
was
taught
going
me that too.
to steal that from them because now poop duty.
That might be trademarked.
Here is
SpongeBob's
DUTY.
pretty big.
It's like who has to
Poop
clean
duty.
it
Yeah.
up?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Poop duty, aka shitty bang bang.
Yeah.
Yep.
There you
AKA
go.
Excrement entertainment.
Yeah. And I guess it wasn't just human feces, but
No, it's
Most
been,
of it.
Yeah, most of it has been.
and we just had a recent one too. You want to talk about that one?
Which one?
Well, I can't say names.
Oh. Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
The one that left and then pooped in the shower? Pooped behind the door?
Is that where it was? Well, I didn't ask you where it was.
Oh, yeah, it was behind like the door. So, when old T-Bear opened the thing, it just slug trailed it. Yeah. Yeah, so.
Okay, I didn't.
I
hear
think
that part.
it's just I feel like, as we talk about this more, I need to, when we discharge people, just go in their room and just.
Like
and
with
just check.
them.
Yeah, just follow them around and be like, please don't poop on anything. Because it is.
So you're talking like 24-hour surveillance.
Yeah, just like, oh, you're being discharged.
Can we just make clear that most people, whether they leave voluntarily or involuntarily, do not do any of these things?
Oh, yeah, no.
You've
This
heard the
is-
stories.
yeah.
We've been open almost 3 years. So we've seen a lot of people come and go, some in short periods. Some
this-
stay a really long time, and they're amazing and would never dream of doing such a thing.
No.
So,
Just
yeah,
probably
these
less
are
than
exceptions to the
1%.
rule. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, and then here I'm thinking about how hard it was to get our community to support
Yeah.
this. I mean, that at times I think they thought I was the Antichrist for even proposing something like this.
Yeah.
So a lot of just lash out and pushback just out of sheer ignorance, And so we educated to have them understand that, the spectrum that we serve, it's not what you see on the streets. It's the invisible homeless. And so a lot of work that went into that. And I think now here we're doing an episode on revenge pooping, and they're going to think, oh, see, I was right. Charity was wrong. But no, it really is a small percentage. It's
Yeah.
just, and trying to understand it, because we constantly have these conversations of, okay, is it a symptom of crisis brain, or is it just pure revenge? Someone that doesn't know how to cope with whatever is happening. They feel powerless. And so they feel like this is one way I can feel in control,
Yeah.
right? And I guess pooping on demand is that thing.
Yeah, and I think it's also, so I think the bedroom pooper, the shower stomper, and the shower behind the door.
Waffle stomper.
Yeah, I think all those are a lot of revenge pooping with the discharge stuff. But a lot of the people with the Shart Art, I think that's just medical issues, and then once you find out who it is, it's the how do you have that conversation?
Like they're embarrassed to ask for help.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, how do you have that conversation? It's a hard conversation, right?
Yeah.
We talk
But
about
you do try
Oh, yeah.
to do
yeah,
that.
and it's trying to be tactful.
Right.
It's not like I always joke with the CCs. If somebody has bad breath, that conversation would be like, my favorite thing to do in the morning is brush my teeth.
Right.
And it's like, how do you do that with somebody who is having, issues? If they have bad knees or something, it's like, we need to look at getting you a toilet riser.
Yeah.
Something along those lines.
And doing it with dignity. And your team
Exactly.
is so good at doing that.
Yeah. But it is, some of those conversations are hard, So with I think Shart Art, that'll probably, hopefully, stop. But it is, feeling bad for the buildings and grounds people. They always bring it, and then I'm like, can you, Luke always just like, seriously, like, can you send me a picture? He's like, what, Chad? And I'm like, I did not see it. I didn't
I'm
witness
not
it.
making a scrapbook.
Yeah, I'm not making a scrapbook. We probably could. It actually could have Shart Art for reals.
A photo journey in
Yes.
feces.
But it's like,
Only $9.95.
come check out our poop
You
photography.
can't see me shaking my head right now, but trust me when I say I'm shaking my head right now. Go on, Chad.
I know. I just
Julie,
am like,
listen, you gotta laugh. You gotta laugh.
mean,
Oh,
we
you
would
know what?
cry if we didn't.
Chad and his
Yep.
team could not do the work they do
No.
if they did not have the capacity to laugh, because it's just a lot
Yeah.
some days.
It's admirable. And like you said, in trying to help people, sometimes that is like, there's something more to this, and weaving that into those already hard conversations, like even the stuff that isn't ridiculously private, even some of those conversations are hard to have. So once you're getting into like bathroom talk, like
Yeah.
that's really hard. So
Yeah.
kudos for all your efforts. Let's take just a very quick break, and we'll come back to the escape pod, and I want to hear what the therapist you spoke to, if they had any kind of insight. We'll
Okay.
be right back.
Okay.
Want to change your community for the better just by donating your change? Round up for One Heart. You can help move people out of poverty and into a better quality of life simply by rounding up your debit or credit card purchases and choosing One Heart, a place for hope and healing, to receive your donation. Visit oneheartrc.org and click the Roundup button at the top of the page. That's oneheartrc.org. Be the change by donating your change. Start rounding up for One Heart today. Welcome back to the Escape Pod. I'm Julie, here with Charity and our special guest today, Chad, the Transformation Director here at the One Heart campus, overseeing all the direct service work that we do here. So Charity said earlier in the show, it's our poop duty episode. Had a lot of laughs considering that we're talking about one of the most disgusting of subjects. What did your therapist friend have to say about?
Well, I don't know if she's a therapist. She's just in the mental health
Okay.
arena. But I talked to a clinician and I talked to someone in the mental health
arena? Yeah.
And they both pretty much said the same thing. There's no, is there a prevalent diagnosis was my question. Like that if you see someone with this diagnosis, whether it's a personality disorder or something, that you see this,
Show itself.
this behavior. And the answer was no.
Really?
Yeah, there's not really a link. It's very case by case. And that theory that I voiced earlier about just doing, like, someone feeling powerless and just needing. It's kind of like what we see in our society, and it's very prevalent in our American culture right now, where we think we're going to raise our or elevate our stature, our standing, our self-confidence, or whatever by tearing somebody else down. And that doesn't work that way. You actually do better by
Lifting up
like what you
others.
put out, you get back, right? And so some people just don't comprehend that. They feel like the only way they're going to get the power that they feel they're lacking is if they get it from you. And so that behavior of doing this, it's like, I'm going to make you literally feel like shit and deal with my shit for this reason. And and then they feel like, I just one-upped somebody.
Interesting.
Now, it's not going to be a long-term fix, right? And clearly it's very juvenile and it's very, whatever. But, a lot of folks that we deal with, and that we work with, that we help try to get on the trajectory that they want to see for themselves, they never had anybody model true adult behavior, not juvenile behavior.
Sure.
We have a lot of kids having kids, and then they raise said kids, and sometimes don't really know how to do that well. And so we see the outcome, and I'm just so grateful that we have a place where people can shit on our floor. No, I'm kidding. Where people can learn, like Julie made a comment about how basically we're teaching people what she learned the first 18 years of her life,
Right.
without all the drugs and all the other stuff. And it's so true. I mean, just an environment that's safe and inclusive and supportive and
Lots
nurturing
of stability,
and all that stuff.
not
No worries about basic needs. Like that starts to shift somebody's brain. And so every single one of the cases that Chad was talking about, every single one of them was not on campus very long. They didn't allow that time, themselves the time to start to, because the whole campus is designed to rewire the brain. They didn't allow themselves the time to do that. They reacted likely from their traumas and the baggage that they carried in with them, that's how they cope with things.
Well, one of the things you talk about a lot in orientation and that we talk about often in why we do what we do here is starting to get forward thinking, right? And think about like actions have consequences, this and that. And part of what you're saying is, they're really not here long enough to recognize like, okay, those actions in their head, it's a split second decision. Again, sometimes maybe needing a little help.
Short-term cause and
It's
effect.
short-term cause and effect. And the idea that, this might prevent me from being able to get back into the program when I'm more ready. Or that, we partner with dozens of other organizations, and if anybody learned I did this, it might prevent, which we have privacy rules, so that's not necessarily going to happen, but you still, those types of actions, that it might have consequences that you just don't ever think about.
Well, and it's hard when they're in that frame of mind too to think about or own that we didn't just pick a name out of a hat and say, oh, you're getting axed today. Like, we're just ready. We have a quota to hit for discharges. Like, it's because of something they did. And a lot of times it's not even the first time. It's like, you've had many, many, many chances. And they're doing it to get back at one person that they are projecting that responsibility onto.
Yeah.
And many times they like a lot of the staff, and they don't realize that the staff that they like are the ones that have to clean up their shit. And so it's those things where they can't think about, they just because of the way that their brain is operating at that time, they don't think about, whereas if you had them in the right frame of mind and you had a logical conversation with them about,
it would never happen.
They would would never do it. And that's one of the first questions I ask all of our new guests. Have you ever think back in your life to something, a decision you made, something you did that you are not proud of, and you don't know why you did it? And they all raise their hands 100% of the time.
Right.
And I raise my hand too. I raise both hands in a lot of cases because, you've heard some of my stories. So,
A few.
Yeah.
A few. Chad, any thoughts on what this part of the discussion?
No, I was actually just imagining that couple coming back that was the first pooper on the floor. And
The OG pooper.
yes, the very OG case, and having them go through orientation and you asking that question. You guys ever done anything?
And then doing this.
Yes. And then just having
Making
them be
eyes.
like,
No. She wouldn't
know what you
dare.
did.
yeah.
We have cameras in your room. Don't poop on our
No.
floor again. No, never, never. I'm just kidding.
No, never, never. Yeah, it is always something that has dumbfounded me. There's a lot of things that I think I've told you guys that have happened on this campus that never in a million years of my professional life did I think, oh, we got to clean up poop in the
No.
middle of a room. So it's always, entertaining. And like we were talking about earlier, it's just, as the staff here, I mean, the only thing we can do is laugh, right? It isn't, nobody really laughs at poop. I mean, my 3-year-old thinks it's absolutely funny to say poop. He's a duty head, but he's also a terrorist. But just like for adults, to be able to laugh about it, it is, there are some entertaining moments, and it's just the prevalence of it happening is just like, it's wild.
So poop notwithstanding, what are some of the more entertaining anecdotes from our 3 years that you can think of with regard to some of these stories?
Oh man. I think they're just the guests themselves, because they are, they're on their own journey. So learning how to have a professional conversation with somebody is always funny. So the most recent one I had was with a guest, and she's a repeat guest, so she's very familiar with me and my position. And when I had to go over to the life safety desk to do the kiosk stuff, you just never know what you're going to get when people walk in, right? So this lady walks in, and she sees me, and she says, "Aw, shit, you got demoted." She was like, "What are you doing over here?" And I just was just dying laughing. And that is seems to be the consistent with all of our guests. You just never know when they show up for OEPs, like what is going to come out of their mouth. Some of it's actually super profound, and some of it's just pure funny,
Yeah.
We're talking about, we had a young guest move in this week. No, it was last week. And one of our younger care coordinators talked about when she was this person's age, she was thinking about college, right? And she's like, I can't imagine having 2 kids under the age of 1. She's like, her dream is to go to high school. And she was like, my dream at that time was to get into college, and she has all these responsibilities. The only thing I was worried about was what I'm going to eat for breakfast.
Right.
And so, we do have a lot of the funny things, but we also have a lot of things that, make us cry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that make us tear up, because it is, we sometimes forget how blessed we are as individuals. We do have struggles. I have struggles every day. But the struggles that a lot of our guests are facing, whether it's, where am I going to poop at? To,
Fair.
exactly.
I have options.
Exactly, I have options.
Don't include toilets.
No, they don't. So yeah, it is entertaining every day. Never know what you're going to get. It's also super fulfilling. But yeah, the Shart Art, hopefully it doesn't continue, because buildings and grounds, I think they're done. I remember Luke banned, what are those? Flushable wipes?
Yep. They're not flushable.
No,
They're
they are not.
not.
Just a PSA. All the plumbers will thank us. Not flushable.
Kleenex,
Yep.
flushable wipes. Do not put down your sewer.
Yes, don't do that.
Don't flush. Do not flush. Go in the garbage, please.
Yes. Just a classic example, though, of Luke being just the sweetest man in the world.
I actually know this story. It's so good.
Yeah, I've never seen him upset before, but there was a vein in the middle of his forehead. I've never seen that vein.
Oh, wow.
And so he was fired up, and he was like, "Got to talk to you and Michael." He was one of our co-captains. I said, "Okay, what's up?" And he's like, "We're banning all wipes, everything. They're not flushable. We just spent such amount of time trying to get these done, da-da-da-da-da." And I said, "Okay." I was like, "You got it, Luke." I said, "We will send out a message, and we will add these to the banned list." I said, "But who just did this?" And he told me. I said, "Okay." I said, I need you to get them a bill for your time, because you just did this." And he was like, "Well, it wasn't that bad. Like, it's, do I have to? I said, yes, Luke. If they're going to take us seriously, actions have to have consequences. So
You
I don't
have
want
to teach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to do a bill, Chad.
Teachable moment.
And I said, Luke, you're such a nice man. In his vein, when I told him this, when I said, you have to do a bill, I'm not even lying, guys, that vein just disappeared.
Oh.
And immediately he was just like, no, I have to charge somebody. It's like, yes, a teachable moment. But it is
Now,
just...
you made clear we're not charging them what it would cost if
Yes,
we called a
yes.
plumber.
It's like,
it's like a tenth of the
Yeah.
price.
It's, because we do, on the bills, we put, what the actual cost would be for a
Would
plumber.
be, yeah.
And then we do like the one heart discount. But yeah, it just seems like, just come to think of it, man, we got like all the septic issues and Shart Art. I mean, people shitting all over the campus. Like,
Yeah.
man.
But I remember you said, like, here I am doing, so when he says OBP, it's options-based planning. Here I am doing options-based
Case
planning with
management
our,
session.
case management session with our buildings and grounds manager, trying to get him to understand, like, why we do what we do here, with the guests. And, it just was funny because I can see him being like, oh, but like so mad, and then, but I don't want to make him
Yeah, I
feel
don't
bad.
wanna-
Like,
I
really,
don't-
he didn't want to make him feel bad.
I
He
mean,
didn't
they're
wanna have
here
to
because
charge
they're in
'em.
poverty. So I don't
Right.
want to, and
Yeah.
I get it. But, part of that whole eviction cycle that people
Right.
get in is because of choices like this. And so it's that, and they have that safe space here. That's the thing, the
Right.
time and the space to learn these things so that they can become more responsible renters, more responsible
Exactly.
tenants, more responsible employees, all that kind of a thing. And it just, the confidence that comes along with watching that transformation is just so fun to watch. I can think of a couple stories of just watching people who did not have integrity because they had to manipulate and steal and lie to survive. And they get here, and then, like, year and a half in, all of a sudden those little integrity muscles are like, they're little tiny muscles, and they start to do, and then they get tested. And when they really walk in integrity for the first time, like, it's scary. Like, there's gonna be bad consequences. And I'm like, I'm one who will never punish somebody for acting in integrity and with integrity. And I always call them on that. Like, this is what that is. This is what that feels like. And then it's like, oh, that's pretty cool. But you had told a story too, some of the more profound things that people say, because we do have such a trauma focus here of helping people learn to cope in healthy ways with the things that they've experienced and endured in their lifetimes. And one in particular was really questioning what life was going to look like on the other side. Do you want to talk about that one a little bit?
Yeah. So we had a guest that was getting ready to go through EMDR with our clinician here on campus. And her big question was, what am I going to be like without my trauma?
Who will I be? Yeah.
Who will I be?
Am I the same person?
Yep. And never, that never crossed our mind. It's, one of those things. And she said, after that, because she got kind of emotional about it, will I still be funny?
Like, she had used humor,
Yes.
obviously, to cope.
Yeah.
She had probably felt like she was pretty resilient, pretty strong because of what had happened. And now you're telling me that I'm going to be able to remember these traumatic experiences without feeling all the things that I felt, is essentially a very simplistic way of explaining the positive effects that EMDR can have on people when it works effectively, which we have found with a lot of our guests it does.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I think about myself with my trauma, like if I went through EMDR and I got the trauma associated with sitting with my back to a door like I am now.
Well, you're kind of
Off
sideways.
to the door.
You're
I'm
sideways.
sorry, I didn't think
My
about
watch
that.
keeps buzzing. It's like, are you having a heart attack? No. I just think someone's going to stab me in the back. It's fine.
I got your
I'll
back.
protect
Yeah.
you.
I can
Yes,
see
we're
all
here.
2 feet behind you, and
perfect.
you're clear.
But like to think about, like, if I got that feeling that was associated with that, just removed.
Yeah.
Like, my wife would probably be happy because she wouldn't have to sit in a certain spot. So but I got to sit so I can see the entire restaurant or wherever we're at, But to actually sit down and think about that process, what is something that you have trauma that's tied to an emotion, And if you could get rid of that negative emotion, like, what would your life look like? It is terrifying because that's part of your personality.
Well, I can think of one I'd like to get rid of.
Yeah.
And you, I mean, oh my God. My husband he doesn't do this intentionally. He just has to, he shows up and and it's from a certain space, like it's coming into my periphery from the back. And I'll know he's there. I can hear him and it still scares the crap out of me every time. And he did it once to me. I'm on the freaking treadmill and he just shows up to say goodbye in the morning before he goes to work. And I thought I was going to fly off that thing. And I was so mad. Are you trying to kill me? And he knows I spook easily and he knows why I spook easily. But so that's one trigger I would love to get rid of because it's ridiculous. My grand dog, my daughter's dog, when I'm babysitting him and he'll just come into my bathroom, scares
so
the
quiet.
shit out of me. I'm just like, ah! And then I scare him because he's blind and he can't see. So I scream and then he jumps and he's blind. So he runs into things. And it's this whole thing because of my startled,
Yeah.
what do you call that? Jump scare.
Yeah, your startle response.
Yeah, my startle response. It's ridiculous. So I would definitely get rid of that one.
Oh, absolutely. So, and the same lady, also, just super insightful about the trauma and getting rid of it through EMDR, but also job wise. So one of the things that we think about as people who are not living on campus is the more money we make, the better off we are, right? Mm-hmm. This specific individual was offered a executive chef position that started out at like $95,000 a year. Mm-hmm. She was used to working for $15-16 an hour. Mm-hmm. And the first thing that popped into her head was how many drugs I could buy for that.
Yeah.
And I could flip it and make X amount of money. But because that was the first thing that popped into her head, she actually turned down the job, called her care coordinator, and was like, I'm not ready to make that kind of money. I need to slowly work up towards that.
But that level of self-awareness,
Yeah,
that is what we aim for here. That is so profound.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's not end on that note. We have one more quick break, and then we're going to wrap things up on the Escape Pod this week. Need an early morning boost or midday pick-me-up? Check out the Homebrew Coffee Shop, a coffee shop with a cause in the heart of the One Heart campus. Homebrew is home to delicious coffee, sweet treats, breakfast, and lunch items, a great place to meet friends or host small group meetings. Homebrew, located at 201 Kansas City Street in Rapid City. Open Monday through Friday from 6:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. Homebrew, where you'll find hope for a home in every cup. All right, welcome back to the Escape Pod here on the One Heart campus. Again, if you want to learn more about the campus itself, go to the prologue episode so that you can hear about the work that we do here. We hope we are escaping any chance of having to deal with be on poop duty anytime in the near future. I always feel like if it's not mine or my children's, who now are old enough to know better as well, hopefully I'm not dealing with stuff like that. But we, as Chad mentioned, it does happen. So, Chad, you don't know this part, but we like to talk about where we would actually like to escape to. So rather than all the, kind of sometimes nasty things we want to escape from, any place you'd like to escape to.
Or thing, or
thing,
person,
or
just something.
mindset.
And on a happy note is what she's trying to get at.
I know I can't end on a sad note.
Can't end on a sad
Yeah.
No, I don't do that.
This is called our Pollyanna moment.
Pollyanna. Okay. Escape to.
A video game?
No, I mean I've
Okay.
been playing some more video games lately. I think escaping to just mindset of being more positive. I think lately I've been a little more negative.
Okay.
And my Zoe, who you guys have met, just reminded me again of how blessed we are.
Yeah.
She actually chose to do her school project on anxiety.
Interesting. She's 12?
Yes.
Wow.
Because she knows that I have anxiety.
Oh.
So she's going to help you, Dad.
Well, she wanted to educate herself so that she wouldn't make us anxious at home. And
That's
it just
so precious.
no, and I know.
My eyes are sweating.
I always, I always call, our kids just little terrorists because they, always break something. But it is something that just I keep in mind. Like, I'm blessed with a healthy family and kids who want to help take care of us, at the end of the day. So for me, just escaping to spend more time with them and have a more positive mindset versus, I didn't realize my anxiety was that bad. And Zoe had figured out, like, there's something wrong with Dad. But it actually has brought us together because her and I are sitting and talking about what anxiety is, what causes it, and now she gets to go educate her classmates on it. So for me, that was a pretty cool thing. It gave me some time to escape from what I would call traditional work and just spend some time with her talking about something that at the end of the day, she may have as an adult.
I feel like a future like human
Yeah.
services
We'll hire
person in
Zoe.
her.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's really sweet.
Aw,
Yeah.
Charity, where are you escaping to anytime soon?
Well, today was the kickoff for the 46th annual Lakota Nation Invitational. So I'm sure my husband and I will be picking up some basketball games, and they have a new event, skateboarding. I am so excited to see. Yeah. Like
Cool.
as an event. So
Okay.
I'm really excited. So that's what we'll be doing this weekend.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I'm escaping to a swim meet, which for some parents is probably like a nightmare, but I love the sport and it's just a 1-day deal, so it should be fun. But I do, it takes me back to very happy memories of my childhood.
I love that you have those.
I know.
I know I get jealous.
I
It's so it is.
do.
I get slightly jealous, and her parents are amazing. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. No, and I will just say,
Maybe
like,
your parents can adopt me. Either one of you.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I need some adoptive parents.
Maybe we can make that happen.
Okay.
I don't know what the legality
I'm an
is
orphan.
of I won't give your age, but very much an adult being adopted, but we can see what we can work out. All right, that's going to do it for us this episode.
All right. Thank you for tuning in. We sincerely, sincerely appreciate your support. If you like what you heard, you think there's a friend that might want to hear this too and laugh along with us and might enjoy it, please share it with a friend. And just remember, Julie and I are a 2-person operation. We write, research, produce, and promote the show all by our little selves in our spare time. So please take some time, rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts. It really helps grassroots efforts like ours gain more exposure. You can check out our website at escapepod.live. You can follow us on our socials or reach out at justbecause@escapepod.live. Or if you're feeling really brave and you want to share your story of escape with us to possibly be shared on a future episode, you can send those in to escapeartist@escapepod.live.
We're closing the hatch on this episode of the Escape Pod. Chad, thank you so much for
Yes, thank you,
joining
Chad.
us. And remember, everybody, trauma may be inevitable, but how you grapple with it is optional.
Stay resilient and keep laughing.